comprehending magic. Magic, the word which we understand as magic, is actually frequency which we perceive as word, but it also has a quantum truth to it. Magic is the essence, or we describe, if we start to look at the English language, we can start to understand that the English language is actually used to interpret, it's used to interpret a lot of things, but in general, it's used to interpret. So when we start to look at words, we can actually start to break down meaning behind words. And a lot of the time, words are only the glistening of the truth they really are. Hence why some people say that words are spells. Some say that. Some can also say that words are powerful. Words have meaning. Words have truth. Well, it's because the words which we're conveying convey an energy field. And if we can connect to that energy field, we start to comprehend that the words that we are speaking have the ability to connect us to truth. And not just truth, but also understanding meaning behind truth, which is ultimately what we are all here experiencing. We are here to experience. We are here to learn. We are here to manifest. We are here to essentially learn and manifest. So when we can start to use words as ways to comprehend and understand and reflect, we can start to understand how powerful they really are, because the words which we're using, sometimes we have no idea that they're actually fields of energy which do have the power to keep us from discovering our heart's existence. Now, why this would be the case is because the heart has its own magnetical field. It has its own magical aura. And if we are ignorant, or if we can't comprehend this truth of our heart's existence, we will never be able to connect to it. And part of the truth is that we can use the words which we're speaking and interpreting through our ears to actually formulate some sense of awareness from our hearts. How we do this is self-reflection. When we are always talking in our heads and always conveying thought within perception, we might not even be speaking it, but we might be hearing it internally. We might be listening to it all day. All of the thoughts that are going through our head, we're listening to them. And essentially, this is the same as speaking them. There's no different, because the field of energy doesn't need to be conveyed outside of ourselves. It can be portrayed within ourselves. So if we're listening to this frequency, and we're listening and listening and listening, essentially the frequency is internally bombarding our point of attention all the time. And how this is connected with our heart's magic is that if we are always running the code of hatred, anger, frustration, jealousy, neglect, these thoughts are dense. They never allow the frequency or our point of attention to raise to the existence of the heart, because the heart exists within this reality, this body, this physical body. Of course it beats, but the frequency of which the heart needs to connect to the source of truth, divine happiness, it needs a higher vibrating existence or code to truly harness and fuse together. And when we're stuck in lower realms of consciousness or realms of essentially it's the mind's realm of thought, when we're always just thinking from the mind, it doesn't generate enough you could say clarity to allow the heart to connect. It severs clarity. It essentially severs clarity.